Good morning, everybody. Time to do a recap. Now, these are the things that we are going to be coping with and dealing with for a long time. Can't read. Oh, God, I got my glasses back on. Sorry. All right. These are the failures from the current Harris administration. She is part of the administration, so let's not forget that. She is vice president of the current administration. So these actually are joined at her hip, okay? We have over 15 million illegal immigrants in this country. No clue who they are, where they're from, or are they a murderer? Are they mentally unstable? No clue. Worst inflation crisis since the Great Depression. Yeah. The average American is paying $1,500 more per month just in regulations for their spending. Just that one thing alone. Worst inflation since the Great Depression. We have high gas prices in every state from 4 years ago. We have the worst consumer debt in our nation's history because people can't make ends meet. They are using their credit cards just to survive because our inflation is out of control. We have terrorists in our country. Because our border is wide open, we have terrorists just waiting to hurt Americans. We are part of 2 wars. We are part of the Ukraine war. We are now part of the Israeli-Hamas war. We weren't in any wars during the last administration of Donald Trump. He promised we wouldn't be, and we weren't. Let's just for a second think about the 13 men and women who died during the Afghan withdrawal, that these two sitting this president and this vice president today, still today, October the 8th, 2024, have not acknowledged their deaths. Nor have they had one conversation with those family members. Not one. How is that acceptable? It's not acceptable. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, that is not acceptable. Americans died on your watch, and it is irresponsible of you not to acknowledge their deaths. Violent crime is skyrocketing everywhere because we have illegal immigrants that are here, that are criminals. Here in Houston, we have lost 2 young girls this year to violent rape and then murder because of illegal immigrants that have just waltzed across our border. In the first time in American history, we have weaponized our judicial system against a political opponent. Is this a third world country, or is this the United States of America? We don't do that. We don't weaponize our systems against our political opponent unless you're a left operative or you're a leftist, whatever you want to call them. You are the reason. You are the reason we have now become a country that weaponizes our judicial system against our political opponents. You've lied to the American people about President Biden's cognitive health. You replaced him because of it, and you lied to the American people for years. You lied. You knew he was not well, and yet you allowed him to remain in office. This is confirmed by the fact that you removed him from the ticket. You replaced him with the most unpopular vice president in history, who has never received 1 vote as president. She's never received a proper delegation vote. You circumvented the whole process for one reason. You will do anything to stay in power, and you will do anything to destroy another human being, Donald Trump. That's the political leaders that we want in this country. You declared war on the American energy industry, where we would be self-sufficient, where we wouldn't have to buy our energy from any other entity. It is in our backyard. You are just so set on Donald Trump's destruction that you are not willing to do what is right for the American people. You have cost energy workers their livelihood because of your incessant obsession and hatred for another human being. But you're supposed to be the party of joy and love? What a joke. It's an absolute joke. Our children's test scores are lower. We don't pay our teachers enough. We don't take our education system important enough to make sure that our test scores are above average so our children and our next generations can compete. Right now we can't. The United States of America is not even in the top 5 test scores, and we're supposedly the most powerful country in the world. This president and this vice president is the most unpopular in American history because of what they have done to the American society, economy, and Americans. You have systematically destroyed just about every single thing that you have touched. Our debt is out of control. It will take generations and generations of future Americans to pay off America's debt, if we can do it before the country implodes and becomes bankrupt, because of your reckless, irresponsible spending. And right now, a crisis in our country from 2 catastrophes, one that's about to unfold and another one that unfolded 2 weeks ago. These are natural disasters, and this administration has actually used that FEMA money that Americans put into the system to take care of Americans, and you have given it to illegal aliens. So they can have a phone, so they can have a job, so they can have health insurance, so they can live in a New York hotel high-rise, and food. But yet, people in the Carolinas have no electricity, no water, no homes, no food, babies have no formula, people have died, and all you do is come up with excuse after excuse after excuse. And now a cataclysmic hurricane is barreling towards Florida that is going to decimate Florida. And are you prepared? No, because you can't even take care of the first crisis that happened 2 weeks ago. And you, Harris, won't even have a conversation, a live conversation. No, you have to sit with an orchestrated Hollywood production because you know you can't do this job. And if you sit in front of reporters, just like it happened to Biden in his debate, the American people will see how incompetent you are. You do not have the leadership skills. You do not have the international diplomacy skills. You can't even articulate words together, sentences together. And you want to be the leader of the free world? All of this is why we must elect Donald Trump. If we don't, just imagine where we're going to be under a Harris presidency. It will be catastrophic to Americans and to our country. She just does not have the skill set. And she's done nothing and said nothing to make us believe she can do it. That's where we are. Please forward this message.